Hey everyone, it's your buddy back again with another exciting fanfic, which is What If Naruto Was Jiraiya's Apprentice from the Start, Part 2. If you enjoy this story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fanfics like this. Now, let's dive right into the fanfic. The month before the finals. Training ground 2 the day after prelim. So what are you going to teach me, Erosenin? Naruto asked, eager to learn what the Toad Sage had planned for his training. Well, as you are aware, your opponent is a Hyuga who are masters of close combat, so we are going to work on your long-range skills because at the moment you only have 1D rank Fuden Jutsu for long range, and that is only effective when used in collaboration with kunai or shuriken. So first we are going to work on your nature manipulation at least until you can cut a leaf. Then I have 2 new Fuden Jutsu for you to learn, the Toad Sage informed his young apprentice. But I still can't get more than little cuts out of the leaf. I need some help from a wind user and I can't find Asuma-sensei anywhere, the blonde whined. That's okay anyway, make as many clones as you can and send a few out to look for him while the rest keep on at the exercise, Jiraiya said, and the clearing was filled with over 1,000 loudmouth blondes. Okay, now set your clones to work, we have other things to discuss, the old pervert said. Sure, what is it, Erosenin? It's your clothes. My clothes. Yes, they're horrible. I mean, I can't have you representing the mighty Toad Sage. Jiraiya dressed like one of the signs at the strip clubs, and I have been to them all in this town. They're that exact shade of orange. Don't you have anything else to wear? The old sage asked. Well, bushy brows sensei gave me this, Naruto said, producing a green spandex one piece, but before Naruto could attempt to replace his clothes with it, his sensei had stolen it and was currently burning it with a fire jutsu, and then he buried the ashes. You are never to be seen in one of those, do you understand me? Jiraiya shouted, shaking the blonde for emphasis. Now I know you like orange, but you have too much, and can we tone down the color? I mean, that is way too bright. I think they use those jumpsuits on the docks in water country to warn ships when there's a fog, he finished. Okay, I get it, new clothes. So are you gonna come with me, or are you just going to let me get overcharged like I always do? Naruto asked. Hell yeah, I am coming. If I left you alone, you would probably come back in a Hawaiian shirt and track pants, the sage joked. Clothing store. There, that looks much better on the eyes, Gaki. Now you look like a real shinobi, Jiraiya said proudly as Naruto stood there admiring his new outfit. Naruto wore black Anbu pants with a rusted orange trim and a black combat jacket with the same burnt orange on his arms and down the zipper. On his feet he wore standard black combat sandals. Think Naruto's outfit in Shippuden, but the colors reversed. I didn't want to change his style too much. After paying the correct price, as the store owner was too intimidated to attempt to con the poor boy while in the presence of one of the Sannin, they left. On the way back, Naruto and his clones were sent the memory of a rather informative meeting with the Jonin sensei of Team 10. With Naruto's clone 30 minutes earlier. Damn it, where is Asuma sensei? Even Shikamaru didn't know, the clone thought. Several minutes later, he found the Jonin walking with Kurenai and decided this was his best chance of getting information out of Asuma without the rest of Team 10 knowing what he was doing. Asuma sensei, I need your help with something, the blonde clone called out. Stopping in his tracks, the chain-smoking ninja turned to see Naruto running to catch up to him. What do you need my help for? Shouldn't you be training with Jiraiya-sama? Asuma asked. I need your help with wind manipulation. I can't seem to cut my leaf properly, so I was wondering if you could give me some pointers because both Kakashi-sensei and Erosenin said you were the best person to talk to about it. Please, can you help me? The blonde pleaded. Erosenin. Oh right, Jiraiya man, this kid must have guts to call him that. An elemental manipulation is a skill that takes years to master. He could get the leaf cutting exercise down in a month maybe, but that's rare. Oh well, why not let him waste his time? Shikamaru is going to need all the help he can get, and what the hell, he has a Fuden affinity like me, and that's rare enough as it is, let alone in fire country. Okay Naruto, meet me at training ground 15 in 5 minutes. Kurenai, I'll catch you around. Kurenai. Oh damn, she left me. The chain smoker finished with a sweat drop. Naruto arrived at the training ground at the same time as Asuma, who proceeded to take out his trench knives. So a wind affinity, hey that's rare. Do you know any Fuden techniques yet? Asuma asked, passing Naruto a knife which he accepted questioningly. Yeah, I know Fuden. Gale palm that Kakashi sensei taught me, but that's it, the blonde admitted. Okay, that's alright. After you master wind manipulation, you should be able to do most low-ranked Fuden techniques. with no hand signs, and that becomes very useful in tough battles because you no longer need to wait till the hand signs are complete to perform a jutsu, allowing for an advantage in battle. The better your control over an element is, the less it gives away in battle. Now I want you to channel your chakra through that blade, and I will do the same, and we will throw them at that tree at the same time. You ready? Receiving a nod in affirmative from the blonde, they both began to channel their chakra. Naruto watched as a casing of blue chakra surrounded the trench knife, but also saw a noticeable difference in the shape of his chakra case and Asuma's. What am I doing wrong? Yours looks like it has become an extension of the blade, whilst mine looks weak and wavy, the blonde moaned. Just watch now, throw the blade at the tree, the I will do the same. Naruto complied and saw as his blade went most of the way into the tree, far further than it should have at the strength he had used. When Asuma lazily tossed his blade at the tree, however, it passed straight through and embedded deep into the dock behind. When using wind element chakra, I find it best if I imagine my chakra like two blades sharpening by sliding against each other. Remember that, sharpen your chakra like a blade, Asuma said. Wow, thanks Asuma sensei, I'll let the boss and the others know now, the clone said before dispelling to return the information to the original. So it was a clone all along. Looks like he already knows the secret of the Kujibushin, Asuma thought, impressed greatly by the boy. With Naruto, Jiraiya, and clones. After receiving the information from the recently dispersed clone, cutting the leaf was completed with little difficulty, and they began working on the Fuden, Great Breakthrough Jutsu, and Fuden Air Bullets Jutsu. That's enough for today, Gaki. We are going to continue working on this for the rest of the week till you can perform them fast enough that they would be effective in a tough battle where every second counts, Jiraiya said, causing the clones to start to disperse in groups of 5. So what are we going to do the rest of the time if we're only going to work on this for a week? Naruto questioned. Well, in the second week you're going to work on your Fuinjutsu and Taijutsu, Jiraiya paused before continuing. On the third week we are going to work on controlling the fox's chakra better, as you can only use the yokai cloak for around a minute before you begin to lose control of your emotions. What about the final week? Naruto asked. Nothing at all, I want you to rest up so you're not injured for the finals. Also, I have to travel to Kumo to deliver some rather disturbing information to the Raikage. I will be back in time to watch your match, so don't worry. Oh, and one more thing before we go and get something to eat, I want you to double your weights, Jiraiya said as he got up and began walking away from the training ground with Naruto following closely behind. Alright, but Arosenin, couldn't you just put on some gravity and restriction seals? I read about them in those books you gave me on intermediate seal theory, but there was no designs to follow, the blonde asked. Well, I could, but I won't, the toad sage replied casually. What, why not? The younger of the pair demanded. Because that is advanced sealing, and until you know how to perform the seal and remove it safely yourself, it is too dangerous to use. Why do you think Guy uses weights instead of restriction seals? It's because he knows the dangers of using a seal you don't understand completely, the elder of the pair lectured. Okay, I get it. Naruto nodded in understanding as the pair walked on towards Naruto's favorite ramen bar. The week went fast and Naruto had mastered the 2 Fuden techniques to a level that Jiraiya had been impressed and moved the blonde onto attempting to cut the waterfall, but was not having much success as he could only use her 4 clones because of the size of the waterfall. At the start of the second week, Jiraiya had tested Naruto's skill in sealing by asking him to perform the seals he knew and any he had created. After witnessing the pepper smoke seal in his match against Kiba, had been intrigued with what else the boy had come up with. After all, you don't become a legendary prankster without being creative. Your skill is excellent in the seals you know, however, before you can go on to the advanced and then master level seal work, you need to be able to draw the seals a lot faster, as some seals like large suppression seals would be too difficult to carry around like standard exploding tags and storage scrolls, Jiraiya stated after inspecting all of the intermediate level seals Naruto had produced. Nodding in acceptance, Naruto created a large group of clones and sent them to work attempting to draw the seals faster. Now as for your own designs, well, quite frankly they're genius. For example, this seal here is a multi-layer seal with a remote trigger instead of a time delay over a explosive tag that responds only to the person who placed the seal's chakra. I haven't seen work like that since the Yondaime, Jiraiya said, obviously proud of his student's work. Hey, thanks Arosenin, I am still trying to increase the range the trigger seal will work from, but I figure it would still come in handy if I ever have to set up traps without knowing the time of arrival. That way I won't need a tripwire to activate the seals, Naruto explained. Once you can draw a working explosive tag in under 30 seconds, we will move you on to the advanced Fuinjutsu theory, and hopefully by the end of the week you can get rid of the weights and use restriction seals. Now while we work on your taijutsu by sparring, the white-haired man said, getting up and waited for Naruto to get into his stance, which he mirrored. The rest of the week was spent mastering and learning new seals with his clones while having his is handed to him by the Toad Sage in their spars. He found it annoying that despite how badly he was losing, Jiraiya had refused to allow him to take off his weights, but at the end of their time working, his reaction time was much better and had been able to replace his weights with the restriction and gravity seals. The energetic ninja wasted no time learning them as soon as his sensei allowed him to move on to the advanced Fuinjutsu theory and application. As well as his first 2 weeks went, the third was nothing but a failure. No matter how hard he tried to master Kyuubi's yokai cloak, he couldn't keep his emotions in check no matter how much meditating he did. I still can't get it. All I have been able to do is go from 1 minute using the cloak to 2. This is so frustrating, Naruto screamed in frustration as this was the last day of his training. You have to keep your emotions in check when you use the cloak, otherwise you will lose control, the Gama Sanin replied. It's not that easy, Erosenin. Do you know how much of a pain in the ass that stupid fox is to talk to? He won't give me his chakra unless my life is in danger, or I get angry and order it out of him, and then I suspect he only does it because if I am angry I can't use it for long consciously, the blonde whined. Yes, I can see how that would be a problem, but still, for a Jinchuriki to have access to even a single tale of yokai at your ages is extremely rare for a higher level Biju, and the Kyuubi is the strongest and most difficult, Jiraiya explained. Wait, so there are other people like me? Naruto asked, feeling sorry at the fact that other people may have been put through the same kind of life that he had. Yes, there are 8 others to be exact, and some of them are even helpful to their containers like the Nibi, whilst others are nothing but giant masses of hate like Kyuubi or the Aikibi, Jiraiya explained. Damn it, why couldn't I get a nice one? Naruto sighed, still thinking about his rather heated relationship with his Biju. It's fine, I didn't expect control over the fox to be easy, but we will try again later, Jiraiya informed the downbeat Naruto. Now I want you to enjoy your week off, go see your friends. I will be back the day of the exams, so in case I don't see you beforehand, good luck. That Hyuga doesn't stand a chance. Naruto spent the next week relaxing, and on the final day before the exams ran into Shikamaru on the way to the hospital. Hey Shikamaru, what's up, you ready for tomorrow? Naruto asked. Oh hey Naruto, yeah I am ready, I guess at least I have a bye first so it's not as troublesome, the lazy Nara replied. So what are you doing? I was heading to the hospital to see Lee, do you wanna come with? The blonde asked. Yeah, why not? Choji was sent in yesterday because he ate too much, so I guess I should go see him, the pineapple hair ninja said. After the pair had seen Choji, who had somehow snuck in a bag of chips to the hospital, the boys made their way to Lee's room. Upon entering, they saw the red-haired Suna ninja standing in front of the bed, sand dancing around his body in anticipation. Hey, what are you doing here? Naruto asked. I need to kill him to prove my existence, Gaara replied, turning around. What do you mean you don't need to kill to do that? Naruto yelled. I have been killing before I was even a day old. I killed my mother in childbirth, and since then I was shunned, excluded, and ignored because I have a demon in me, and in the end the only way I could feel alive was to kill the looks on the faces of the people before they died of fear. They acknowledged my existence, Gaara said, the look in his eyes becoming twisted. Naruto was shocked by the statement. A demon? Then he must be like me. No, he's not like me. I at least had people who showed me some affection. Gigi, Ikuka-sensei and the Ichirakus. Is this what I would have become had I been completely alone? A cold-blooded psychopath who has to kill to feel alive. Then when I was 9 I started getting targeted by assassins my father hired to get rid of me, as I was considered a failed weapon. Being alone made me strong enough to kill everyone who has tried to kill me, Gaara finished with a demonic chuckle. Gaara turned back from the stunned boys with the intention of finishing off his intended victim, but before he could act, the timely arrival of Guy forced the Suna ninja to leave. After leaving the hospital, Shikamaru turned to Naruto and asked, so do you think he was telling the truth about having a demon sealed inside of him? He does, I am sure of it. Naruto responded. Well, I will catch you tomorrow, Shikamaru CYA. And with that the two boys went their separate ways, Naruto to Ichiraku Ramen, and the lazy Nara walked home deep in thought. The day of the exams were finally here and Naruto got dressed and had a large meal before heading off to the stadium. Upon his arrival he made note that Sasuke was not there and neither was Dosu from the sound team, but thought he would wait and see what happens. Looking up to the Hokage booth he saw the Hokage and another man with a similar outfit, however he had a hat with the sign for wind on it rather than fire. Good morning ladies and gentlemen and welcome to the Chunin exam finals. Unfortunately one of our contestants has had to pull out, so there will be a change to the fourth match. It will now be Subaku no Tamari versus Shikamaru Nara. Now let the Chunin selection tournament begin, the Hokage said, getting cheers of approval from the crowd. Hello, my name is Genma and I will be your proctor for today's event. Rules are simple. The winner is the last man standing. Killing is allowed although it is frowned upon. I can also step in and call an end to the match if needed. Now can all the contestants apart from those in the first match please move to the viewing area. The first match is Hyuga Neji versus Uzumaki Naruto. The proctor finished placing a Senbon needle in his teeth to chew on while the other contestants other than the stoic Hyuga and the energetic blonde left the tournament floor. Now Hyuga Neji ready? Genma asked, receiving a small nod in acknowledgement. Uzumaki Naruto ready? Quote, you know it. Then, begin. The proctor called for the match to begin, but neither moved from their spots or even entered a fighting stance as the crowd looked on confused as to what was happening. I am going to give you this one chance. Loser fate has decided you will lose today, just give up, the stoic Hyuga taunted. Well, it's a good thing I don't believe in fate then, because I never give up and I never surrender, Naruto stated. Very well then, you leave me no choice but to beat you into submission, Neji sneered as he got into his gentle fist stance. Bring it on, the blonde responded, forming a hand seal. They acted at the same time. Neji activated his bloodline and ran forward at pace while Naruto made two clones to intercept his charge while backing up. The Hyuga reached the first clone and went for a fist strike, but the clone was able to dodge out of the way in time and attempted to sweep his leg while the other clone went to punch Neji in the side of the head. Neji was just able to maneuver out of the way, diving forward into a roll, turning to deliver a gentle fist strike to the two clones. Is that all you got? Two clones and you didn't even fight? You ran to the other side of the arena. You see, you are nothing but a dead last loser who will always be a loser. It is fate, Neji stated. Yeah, it might be that, or maybe your Byakugan isn't as all-seeing as you think it is, Naruto yelled while finishing some hand signs, Fuden wind bullets. Naruto took in a deep breath, then hit his chest with his hand and shot out pockets of compressed air, forcing Neji to dodge, keeping him on the back foot. When Naruto was finally out of air, he began a second set of hand signs, not giving the white-eyed genin a chance to catch his breath. Cage booth. That young genin shows great promise. Hokage Dono, he is successfully keeping the Hyuga away from him. A master stroke against a taijutsu expert like a Hyuga, the Kazekage said. Yes, he has become one of my most reliable and yet unpredictable ninja I have, the Hokage informed the Wind Shadow. Stands. Well, look at that, Neji can't get a hit in, Choji said between handfuls of chips. Yeah, but he still can't win. This is Naruto we're talking about, Ino said, trying to mask how impressive Naruto's display really was. Yeah, Naruto Baka is just getting lucky. He doesn't actually stand a chance. Only Sasuke-kun stands a chance against someone like Neji, Sakura said. Think what you want, but I had to fight Naruto and I could tell he wasn't even trying against me. I would say Neji will have a much harder fight than you think. I mean, look at him, he can't get near Naruto, Kiba stated. Arena. Fuden. Great breakthrough, Naruto yelled before taking in a deep breath of and releasing a great gale of wind, ripping some of the branches off some nearby trees, but just before the gale hit its target. Kaden, the stoic Neji screamed as he spun, creating a large dome of chakra, diverting the air around him. Stance. Father, that was. Yes, I know the Kaden is a main branch move and young Neji was able to use it. Truly he is a genius worthy of the main house, Hiyashi Hyuga said to his younger daughter. Damn, that move will effectively make my long-range jutsu useless. I guess I am going to have to get my hands dirty in close range. Still better keep some backup for long range, Naruto thought before creating two shadow clones and charging forward. Naruto and Neji were matching each other blow for blow. Neji's slightly superior taijutsu ability was offset by Naruto's clones, who would send kunai or Fuden jutsu at the Hyuga whenever there was an opening. Stands. Well, looks like the kid has improved a lot. He has definitely got my vote for Chunin. His use of shadow clones is rather impressive and he has some great wind jutsus, Izumo said. Yeah, he has my vote as well. The Hyuga not so much, he has shown great skill in his own style, but his tactics are not up to scratch, Kutetsu responding in agreement. Arena. Neji had enough and finally showed his frustration by changing his focus from the real Naruto to his clones. Naruto used this distraction and fired a Fuden wind bullet at Neji from behind, hitting him in the back. Neji flew forward, dispelling both clones as he collapsed on the floor. Naruto walked forward to inspect the fallen Hyuga, who was gingerly getting to his feet. Tell me, Neji, what is it that has you so obsessed with fate? The blonde asked, still approaching Neji. In our family, it is fate that the branch house serves the main. We give out lives in servitude to them. I found that out when my father was ordered to die in place of his brother Hiyashi-sama, Neji said as he began loosening his hetai. We are even given a seal in so we know our place. You would have no idea what it's like to have a seal that defines who you are. Oh, and by the way, you are in my field of division 8 trigrams 64 palms, Neji yelled. 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 8 trigrams 64 plams. Neji finished his attack and Naruto coughed up a small amount of blood. Stance. Oh well, he fought well. Too bad his opponent was Neji, Tenten said, truly feeling sorry for the blonde. Can't believe it, that was the first attack Neji got in on him and it's over, Kiba yelled. Oh come on Kiba, you honestly can't think Naruto Baka even had a chance, do you? Screeched Sakura. Cage booth. A shame Hokage Dono, but he has at least shown he is Chunin material, the Cage offered up. Yes, Naruto-kun has shown great tactical awareness up until this point. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jonin Council promoted him, Hiruzen said. Ariana. Proctor, you can call the match. Nobody can continue to fight after that move. Neji was cut off as Naruto began to stand and started laughing. What are you laughing about? There is no way you can beat me. I closed off all of your tenketsu points. How you are even standing is astounding in itself, Neji stated matter-of-factly. I am laughing at the fact you don't think I could possibly know what it's like to have a seal I have had no control over receiving, Naruto chuckled out, lifting his shirt as he began to channel Kyuubi's chakra. The 8 division's Shiki Fuin seal came into view for all to see, shocking the crowd. I know exactly what that's like, and you are just like me, fighting destiny at every corner. That's why you tried too hard to hurt Hinata even though she only wants to help the branch family. You and your eyes are once again blind. Naruto finished with a primal growl as red chakra exploded out from his body, reopening his chakra points. Stands with the rookies. Oh my god, what is that red chakra? It feels so evil. Nothing like Naruto at all, Ino yelled, shivering under the power radiating off her fellow blonde. So much power, it's unbearable, said Choji as he actually stopped eating to gaze into the ring. All the other genin could do was nod dumbly in response. Stands with the Jonin senseis. That power, is it breaking out? No, he is using it, but to use so much at such a young age. Incredible, Asuma gasped while Guy and Kurenai could only nod dumbly in response. Contestant booth. There were 3 different faces in this booth: fear on the face of Kankuro and Tamari, knowing what demonic chakra felt like, and this was on a level that made Gaara using anything but his transformation state look like child's play. Deep thought worthy on the faces of Shikamaru and Shino. Shikamaru was piecing together everything he had heard and guessed while Shino's bugs were telling him all they needed to know, and they both had the same thoughts. Jinchuriki. Gaara had a look of hunger on his face, gazing into the ring at what would be his next mother's most awarding meal. Arena. The red chakra receded back into the seal and the audience collectively let out their breaths. However, Naruto was still channeling enough of the fox's chakra to have his eyes the slitted blood red and hands like claws. Okay Neji, no more games, Naruto said, raising his hands into a seal Neji did not recognize. Kai. Seals shimmered to existence on Naruto's hands before fading. The few in the audience who knew what he did were very impressed, and as soon as he kicked off with his new speed, so was the rest of the people in the stands. Neji couldn't keep up. Naruto was all over the ring, even with his Byakugan following the blonde was almost impossible. Being backed into a corner, Neji did the only thing he could think of. Kaden. The large dome expanded out, throwing Naruto back. Neji was left panting from light exhaustion from the effort that Kaden requires. So he uses rotation and chakra manipulation to create a shell. Well, I wonder how that will compete against a more condensed rotation, Naruto thought as he created a clone and began pouring chakra into his hand while the clone started spinning it. Neji observed the spinning ball of chakra with interest, and after deciding that it was not something that he wanted to be hit by, prepared another Kaden as Naruto charged. With the Jonin senseis. What is that jutsu? It has no element, Kurenai asked, confused as to what she was seeing. Both Asuma and Guy just looked on dumbly at the sight before them like they were seeing a ghost, but it was Asuma who responded first with a shocked gasp of Rasengan. Kurenai just blinked and turned back, trying to hide her shock that this was one of the legendary jutsu created by the Yondaime Hokage. With the rookies. What the hell is that? Yelled Kiba. How, it's just chakra, how can it be visible? Ino and Sakura both asked, nobody in particular. I don't know, but it sure looks like it could do some serious damage. Choji said he had returned to munching on his chips after the shock of the red chakra. HN that Naruto Baka trying to be cool. I bet Sasuke-kun wouldn't even break a sweat beating either of them, Sakura said in a huff, receiving, are you serious looks from the surrounding rookies. The fight. Kaden. Rasengan. The two moves clashed, fighting for dominance. However, slowly but surely Naruto began to cut through the Rasengan until eventually the Kaden broke and the Rasengan slammed into the gut of the usually stoic and now shocked Hyuga, sending him flying into the wall before collapsing in a hump. Neji struggled but failed to stand. How he was the dead last whilst I was the prodigy of the Hyuga. How can I lose? Was this fate? No, he fought against fate and won, Neji thought as he was losing consciousness. And in case you think I was fated to win this or I am a genius, I failed the Genin exam 3 times because I couldn't do one jutsu. It was the only one I had trouble with, but no matter how hard I tried I couldn't make a decent bushin. But I can't believe you give up so easily. Because you're not like me, you're not a loser, so get over the tough stuff and you can overcome anything, Naruto said just as Neji faded into unconsciousness. Hyuga. Neji is unable to continue. Winner Uzumaki Naruto. The proctor called out and cheers erupted from the crowd for the unforgettable match they had just witnessed, shocking Naruto to hear him being so accepted by the audience he couldn't help himself and he went on a lap of the ground cheering along with the applause. Ahem, the next match will be Uchiha Sasuke vs Subaku no Gaara, but as Sasuke is not here we will wait for Hokage-sama to decide on what will happen, the proctor announced. Cage booth. You have to disqualify him, Hokage-sama. It would be seen as favoritism to do otherwise, a sparrow-masked Anbu reasoned. You are right, I see no other option but to disqualify the Uchiha, Sarutobi said. I beg you to reconsider, Hokage Dono. Many of the audience came just to see the Uchiha face my son Gaara, the Kage asked with a hint of pleading. Who don't we postpone the Uchiha's match until the end of the round and go on to the other matches first? Very well, we will postpone the match until the end of the round, the Hokage stated. With Jiraiya. Hey, I knew you would win, Gaki, I never had a doubt, Jiraiya said. He had been observing the fight in between his research from a tree outside a nearby hot springs. On the floor. As Sasuke Uchiha is not here we will go on to the other matches and the match against Gaara will be moved to match 4, so the next match will be Subaku no Kankuro vs Aburame Shino. Will the fighters PLE, but Genma didn't get to finish as the puppet user forfeited, causing several boos from the stands. Oh okay then, will Subaku no Tamari and Nara Shikamaru please come down to the floor, Genma called out as Tamari jumped and used her fan to glide down, standing next to the proctor. Several moments passed and the Nara hadn't appeared until finally he flew and landed in the ring with a muttering of, troublesome blonde. He got up and strolled over to face the fan-wielding Kunoichi. If the last match was a match for the people who loved the flashy and combat-oriented side of being a ninja, this match was for the tacticians, with Shikamaru using brilliant strategies to eventually trap the blonde in his Kajimane jutsu as he put her up to force her surrender. He shocked both her and the stands by giving up. Stands with rookies. That lazy bum. What does he think he's doing giving up like that? Ino yelled. That's just Shikamaru, I guess he just got too lazy to continue, Choji said, enjoying yet another packet of chips. Cage booth. Well, that was most interesting, the old Hokage stated. Yes, you have some gifted genin this year, Hokage Dono, although I can see the legendary laziness of the Nara clan is still evident even in the next generation, the Wind Shadow stated, producing a chuckle from Sarutobi. Arena. After a short deliberation they decided to give Sasuke a 10-minute waiting period where if he didn't arrive by that time he would be disqualified. Genma was just about to formally eject the Uchiha from the exam when he and Kakashi arrived via Assumption. We're not late, are we? The lazy Jonin asked. Your match was already postponed and he was just about to be disqualified. You got here seconds before it became official, the proctor said. Sorry about that, we forgot to set our alarm and then there was this black cat that crossed out path so we had to take the long way around, the copy ninja said, causing the Jonin and Chunin who knew of Kakashi's distaste for deadlines to face palm. Anyway, the final match of the first round is Uchiha Sasuke vs Subaku no Gaara. Contestants ready, then begin. Genma called out. Sasuke sped forward at great speed matching that of Lee and began working away at Gaara, however he was unable to successfully defeat his sand defenses. Stands. Rock Lee had just entered the stadium and made his way to where his sensei was standing talking to Kakashi about what he taught Sasuke. So you increased his speed and trained him in the Goken, but if Lee couldn't beat him like that then do you really think Sasuke could? Guy asked. I don't expect Sasuke to win with taijutsu, but I assure you he has some good tricks up his sleeve, Kakashi replied. Guy sensei, I only just arrived, what have I missed so far? The green-clad ninja said. How did Naruto do against Neji? That was a most interesting match, Guy stated, getting looks of interest from both the genin and the copy ninja. Naruto won, and what's more, it wasn't even a close fight. My precious student just couldn't compete with Naruto's flames of youth, the green-clad Jonin said, which greatly shocked Lee whilst impressing Kakashi. Suddenly the sound of birds chirping could be heard throughout the stadium. Kakashi, you didn't? Guy asked, only receiving a nod in response. Arena moments earlier. Sasuke was faster than the Suna ninja, that much was obvious, but no matter how fast he was, he couldn't get through the sand armor. You bore me, Uchiha, I have no interest in you anymore. I want to fight someone else, someone more worthy of testing my existence, Gaara said in a bored tone as his sand prevented a kick to his back. Gaara formed a large orb of sand surrounding himself. What does he mean? He doesn't want to fight me and I am not worthy. I am an Uchiha the elite, he is nothing compared to me. It's time I taught him who he was up against, thought Sasuke as he ran up a wall and performing several hand signs. Lightning started forming in his hand. Konoha's number 1 emo charged at the orb of sand and spikes started protruding from the surface in an attempt to impale the Uchiha, who was able to weave his way around them before burying his hand into the dome like a knife through butter. What's this on my shoulder? Blood. My blood. Aghhhhhhh. The voice of Gaara screamed. Sasuke jumped back from the sand orb with a smirk to enjoy his handiwork, but what he saw shocked him. An eye and not the eye of his opponent. This eye was different. Evil Sasuke was about to rush in an attack when pandemonium broke out in the stands as large sections of the crowd went to sleep and several Suna and Oto ninja jumped out into the arena. Gaara's siblings came down and collected the deranged red head before jumping out of the stadium. Genma landed next to Sasuke and parried several kunai aimed at him. Sasuke, you gotta go after those Suna genin, you can't let them get away. The Chunin exams are over, this is an invasion, the Senbon-loving Jonin spoke. The invasion. Naruto was getting drowsy when he took note of feathers falling from the sky, genjutsu, but why? The question was answered when explosions rocked the stadium and ninja from the sound and sand villages invaded the ring. Shino, Shikamaru, we need to get to our Jonin senseis to find out what to do, and I already know you're faking sleeping, Shika, that ain't going to work on me, Naruto said. Troublesome blonde, fine. It looks like Sasuke has run off after the sand siblings. Our senseis are in the next booth over, let's hurry, Shikamaru droned. Upon arriving at the location the Jonins were fighting, Naruto spent little time getting their attention. Kakashi sensei, we are here, what do you want us to do? Naruto asked. You need to go after Sasuke and help him with those sand genin, the Cyclops ninja said as he created a hole in the wall for the genin to leave the arena. Sakura, you go with them, and Naruto, you're in charge and second in charge. Well, I will lend you one of my summons for that. Summoning jutsu. Pakken here will lead you to his scent. I will take command if Naruto is unable to, Kakashi said, indicating a small pug dog wearing a blue shirt. Yo! The dog chorused, shocking Sakura, who had never seen a summons talk before. You got it, Kakashi sensei, but there is something about the red-haired one you need to know, Naruto said. What is it? The silver-haired ninja asked. He's like me, was Naruto's only reply as he and his team leaving a now worried Kakashi staring out the hole watching them leave. With the Hokage. Kukuku, it's beautiful, isn't it, Hokage Dono, the chaos of war, the Cage sneered. I cannot agree with you. There is nothing more horrible than war. Kage Dono, or should I say Orochimaru, the old Hokage said, sadness evident in his voice at knowing what his old pupil had done. So you figured it out, did you, Sarutobi-sensei? The hubby Sanin chuckled. Your life ends today one way or another, Orochimaru. I will not make the mistake of letting you live again, Hiruzen stated with conviction. No, sensei, it is you who will die here today and your village will burn to the ground, the snake taunted before going through several hand signs, summoning Edo Tensei. As 3 coffins came up from the ground. Out of the first came Hashirama Senju, the second came Tobarama Senju, the third however was disrupted by a hail of kunai and disappeared before it was able to complete the jutsu. Orochimaru, how cruel and twisted are you to use them in this way, the Sandaime said, pity in his voice. Little Saru, is that you? The first Hokage said. You have got an old monkey. Was it you who brought us here? The Nadame asked. No, I didn't bring you here, sensei. That was my pupil who is trying to destroy our village, Sarutobi said, both joyed and saddened to see his former senseis again, joyed because he can speak with his long-dead senseis and friends, and saddened at the way they were going to be used. Orochimaru placed kunai with a seal on them in the back of the former Hokage's heads, and life faded from their eyes and they began to get into a battle stance. Summoning Jutsu King Enma, Hiruzen called and a large ape came into existence in front of the Hokages. Hiruzen, what's going on here, aren't they? Yes, and Orochimaru is controlling them, Sarutobi asked the ape's unfinished question. Enma transformed into a large bow staff and awaited his predecessors to make the first move. It didn't take long before Hashirama finished a set of hand signs and sent a pillar of wood charging straight at the monkey staff wielder. Suna siblings. The 3 genin from the hidden sand jumped from tree to tree but were painfully aware that there were 2 groups of followers and they were closing fast. The first and closest follower was Sasuke Uchiha. They were not too worried with as they outnumbered the lone Uchiha. However, the second group they could tell was 4 or 5 people strong. What do? We can't fight off the Uchiha here. The others will catch up before we can finish. Get away. We need to split up, Tamari reasoned. I will continue ahead. The Uchiha will come after me and I will get a perfect chance to kill him, Gaara said with a twisted smile. You 2 can distract the group behind him, he finished, and the elder brother and sister split up from him to intercept the group behind him, with Kankuro going on ahead with Tamari lagging behind. With Naruto's group, we are catching up, but it looks like the Suna ninja have split up and are heading this way, Pakken said. Most likely in an attempt to prevent us from reaching Sasuke and Gaara, Shikamaru deduced. The lazy Nara's guess proved accurate, as a few minutes later their path was blocked by the puppet wielder of the siblings. I will handle this fight. The rest of you should continue on, Shino stated on a monotone. You sure, Shino? We don't want to leave you here, Naruto asked. Positive it would not be productive for us all to stay, as it would allow our target to escape, the Aburame said. Alright, good luck, bug boy, Naruto said, trying to lift the mood. The others continued on and once again came face to face, this time with Tamari. I am not letting any of you pass, she said, taking her fan off he back and readying a swing, but before she could finish her move she froze. Shadow possession success, Shikamaru said as his shadow had caught the tall kunoichis. You guys go on ahead, I'll hold her here as long as I can, the lazy genius continued. Okay, you got it, come on Sakura, we have attempt to save Pakken, lead the way. Sakura had a tick mark on her head, angry at the way Naruto insulted her Sasuke-kun, but in the end didn't act out, as she knew they needed to go make sure said emo was alright. When the pair and the dog arrived on the scene, they were witness to Sasuke down on one knee, utterly defeated, while a torrent of sand raced towards him. Acting quickly, Naruto grabbed the brooder and jumped out of the way, quickly taking in the patterns on his face and arms. What is that in his chakra? It feels vile, not angry and malevolent like Kyuubi's, but sick and twisted. It looks like it's coming from that seal on his neck. Well, look at that thing. Whoever made it is a genius, a completely fucked up evil maniac, but a genius nonetheless. That has to be Orochimaru's curse mark. One would need a proper look at it, but I can already see a slave and mental suppressor matrix in it, as well as an addiction seal. Obviously, the more it is used, the more control that Hubby Tem gets over its users, and he makes it addictive so they crave the power more and more, Naruto thought, placing Sasuke down on a tree branch and turning to stare at Gaara. Gaara had changed. He was now completely covered in sand and had a tail made of it. His eyes had changed from sea green to black with yellow cross pupils, and he had a face that was no longer recognizable. So that must be Shukaku's version of the chakra cloak, and by the look on Gaara's face he is being overcome by the rage and hatred of the demonic chakra. What do? I only just started work on chakra suppression seals and I don't know any that are on the level 1. Need to stop a Jinchuriki. Guess I am going to have to do this the old-fashioned way by kicking his ass, Naruto thought as he pushed off the branch to attack. Gaara couldn't keep up. Naruto was far faster than the Uchiha and this was pushing his anger to new heights. Naruto on the other hand was just realizing how useless taijutsu was against the Tanuki Jinchuriki. Taking out an exploding tag and wrapping it around the base of a kunai, Naruto observed the cloak of sand and decided it looked weakest at the base of the tail. He dropped down below the enraged Gaara and proceeded to deliver what could only be described as one hell of an enema. The smoke cleared and the sand was now falling off the red-haired genin, but Naruto didn't waste time. He created around 50 clones and attacked from all angles, the first group kicking the troubled ninja into the air. Uzumaki Naruto barrage, the blonde yelled as all the clones continued kicking the red head in the air before delivering violent kicks sending Gaara crashing into the ground. Sakura was staring in awe at the blonde's power whilst checking on Sasuke, who still had his curse mark on, glaring at the fight in jealousy and rage. How is this happening? I am supposed to be the elite, me and Uchiha, not some clanless loser, and Dobi. Why does he have this power but it has been denied me? Why? The last Uchiha raged in his head. Damn you Uzumaki, I will kill you now. Ninpo. Feigning sleep technique, Gaara yelled as he collapsed on the floor. Naruto stared curiously at the downed genin, wondering what sleeping would accomplish when sand erupted all over the sand ninja's body and it grew to the size and shape of the great Biju Shukaku. Ahahaha, I am free at last. Now I get to destroy things, but first, where is that little pest? The giant Tanuki roared. Oh shit, I gotta do something. Summoning jutsu, Naruto yelled and a massive cloud of smoke filled the air, and when it cleared it revealed Naruto standing on top of Gamabunta. Oi Gaki, why have you summoned me? And it better not be one of Jiraiya's stupid tests again, the giant toad said, taking a puff on his pipe. Sorry boss Toad, but it's important this time. Look, Naruto said, pointing towards the tailed beast. What, you want me to fight Shukaku? Well, this brings back memories. Okay Gaki, you're on, but you owe me extra sake for this, you hear me? Gamabunta yelled, jumping forward and attempting to cut off the demon's arm, but the sword became stuck halfway and the giant toad was forced to remove it. Damn, kid is just like his father. Well, this shall be interesting. You're a wind type, yes. Well, when I fire my water bullet I want you to use your most powerful wind jutsu so we can combine them for a collaboration jutsu. The toad ordered. You got it boss Toad, Naruto replied. The giant boss summons leapt high in the air, but before he and Naruto could perform their collaboration the oversized raccoon quickly several air bullets knocking the toad and his summoner back. You need to wake the medium. That blasted Tanuki can attack much faster than we can, however if the boy regains consciousness Shukaku will disappear, Gamabunta informed his blonde passenger. Okay got it, you get me in close and I'll wake him up, Naruto yelled back. Gamabunta jumped forward but Shukaku easily knocked him away. Ahaha, you are no match for me mortal, now die, the Biju roared, sending a wave of sand at the toad, who narrowly dodged out of the way. With Sasuke and Sakura, Shikamaru had arrived after dealing with the blonde Kunoichi and was watching in awe of the battle before him as he headed towards the other two genin in the area. Man, that Naruto, this battle is way too troublesome. We should get out of here before it becomes even more dangerous, the pineapple-haired ninja called out, getting the attention of the others. Sakura weakly nodded, not wanting to get in the way of the fight or be injured or killed. Sasuke on the other hand just glared on at the fight continuing. How can this be? Even with the power of the curse mark one was no match for Gaara, yet the Dobi is. How is this happening? Have I improved at all? I need more power if I am going to kill Itachi, damn it, I need more power. Sasuke thought as he looked on at the two giant animals attacking each other. I am not going anywhere, I need to see how much stronger the Dobi is than me, Sasuke seethed. Nowhere leaving, we will just get in Naruto's way if we stay, that's an order, said a small dog who arrived just after Shikamaru. I am an Uchiha, I don't take orders from small dogs, leave me alone, Sasuke ordered. But Sasuke-kun, Kakashi-sensei left Naruto and this dog in charge. We have to do what he says or it can be considered insubordination and you can be punished, Sakura begged her crush, hoping to be able to leave to a safe area. Fine, let's go, Sasuke sneered, obviously upset at having to take orders from an animal. With Orochimaru and the Hokages. Hiruzen was in a tough spot. He had no way of beating his senseis and former student. The first and second Hokages, it appeared, could not be killed every time they receive a fatal injury they just healed. The forest created by Hashirama had become a trap for the aged Hokage, and he was being attacked from almost every angle. Is there no way I can end this? Yes, there is one way, but it requires a sacrifice of one human soul. Well, Orochimaru, it's time to end this, and I am going to do it with a forbidden jutsu even you have never seen. Sarutobi called out and made several shadow clones to grab his former senseis and his student, Ninpo Shiki Fuin. The Hokage called out as the spectral figure of the Shinigami appeared behind the old monkey summoner and began devouring the souls of his predecessors. I am sorry, old friends, Hiruzen called, a single tear escaping his eye. It's alright, Saru, you're doing it to save the village. I am proud of you, the Nadaime replied with pride in his voice. What is this? How did you defeat my Edo Tensei? Orochimaru demanded, not yet saying the hands reach into him and begin removing his soul. The dead demon summoning jutsu. I will seal their souls away inside the Shinigami's stomach for all eternity, as much as it pains me to do so, and you are going with them, the Hokage informed his former pupil. What? No, I will kill you before you get the chance, Orochimaru yelled, controlling his sword Kusanagi to stab right through the chest of his sensei. Why didn't you get out of the way? Hehe, because I am already dead. The Shiki Fuin costs the life of the caster and has only been used by one other person, the Yondaime Hokage, in collaboration with the 8 trigrams seal in order to seal away Kyuubi at the cost of his life, Sarutobi informed the now struggling Snake Sanin. The pair struggled in a tug of war over the snake's soul for a while, but it became obvious that the Hokage was weakening due to the blade sticking through his chest. Well, it looks like I can't kill you like I had hoped, Orochimaru, but I can still end your dream of learning every jutsu alive by taking your arms, Fuin. Hiruzen called out, completing the sealing. Orochimaru let out a deathly scream as his arms began to turn black, backing away in pain as the old Hokage collapsed onto the ground. He ordered a retreat. Suddenly the barrier that had been preventing interference dropped, and the 4 sound ninja responsible for the barrier jumped and caught their master before shining away. With Naruto and Gaara. Damn it, this is no use. I don't have any claws. I need you to henge me into something that can hold on, Gamabunta said, panting from exhaustion. Okay, I got just the thing. Let's go, Boss Toad, Naruto said, determination filling his voice. The toad charged, and halfway there transformed into Kyuubi before digging his newfound claws into Shukaku's sides, allowing Naruto to jump on his head. No, get off me, you pest. I will not disappear again, the Tanuki roared. Naruto summoned a clone and began gathering chakra in his palm. Hey Gaara, it's time to wake up. Rasengan. Naruto buried the small ball of spinning chakra into the redhead's gut, shredding the sand armor, causing the sleeping Suna ninja to awaken in pain, but not far enough to kill the boy. No, I just got free. I don't want to leave again, Shukaku cried as he started to fall apart and recede back into the seal. Gaara fell to the ground into much pain to stand from the Rasengan as the giant toad dispelled, leaving Naruto walking towards the downed ninja. No, stay away, you will not wipe out my existence. You, how are you so strong? Gaara yelled, clearly panicking and fearing for his life. It's painful, isn't it, being alone? It hurts that you can't be loved like everyone else. I am strong because I fight to protect my precious people. I am strong because I need to be to protect them. I don't want to kill you, Gaara. You are like me, but I got lucky. I met Iruka sensei and Gigi helped me, but you don't have to be alone anymore, Gaara. I would like to be your friend, Naruto said. Gaara was shocked. This boy had just defeated his entire way of life, and what's more, he wanted to help him. You would want to be my friend even after what I have done? The redhead asked. Of course I do. We are the same. I have a demon sealed in me as well, and we can understand each other. I would be honored to be your friend, Gaara, the blonde said, sitting down next to the sand ninja. Thank you, friend. Do you think I can be like you? Have other precious people? Gaara asked pleadingly. Absolutely. In fact, you already have others. Who? Your brother and sister. They may be scared of you, but they obviously still care, Naruto said. The pair sat and talked for a while till Temari and Kankuro arrived and collected Gaara and jumped away, heading out of the city. Temari, Kankuro, I am sorry, the redhead said, leaving his siblings shocked at his statement. Uzumaki, Naruto, hey, how much have you helped our brother? Both siblings thought as they fled the city after it became obvious that Konoha would not fall. 1 week later, Naruto was currently standing over a picture of the Hokage after placing a rose on his tomb. He struggled to hold back the tears to honor his fallen leader and grandfather figure. Returning to the crowd, he took his place next to Kakashi and Team 7, ignoring the jealous looks of Sasuke. The rest of the funeral service was a blur for Naruto, who could only watch in a daze as the families of the fallen walked up to add their loved ones' names to the memorial stone, and once it had finished, Naruto only had enough energy to return home and fall into his bed before falling asleep. 3 days later, with Jiraiya, the Toad Sage was sitting on top of a toad watching his apprentice from a distance as he wandered around aimlessly trying to cope with the loss of his grandfather. "What do you two want?" Jiraiya said, not taking his eyes from the boy, concern in his eyes. The two elders seemed shocked at the Sanin's attitude towards them. "Ah yes, Jiraiya, the council has had a meeting and decided that you should become the Godime Hokage," Koharu announced. "Not interested," Jiraiya responded. "What do you mean? You are the only person strong enough apart from Danzo to run this village, and we have via overwhelming vote by the Shinobi Council decided at this time we decided need one of the Sanin to take over from Hiruzen," Homura said, hoping Jiraiya would reconsider. Jiraiya turned to face the elders directly. "Oh come on, you know as well as I do I would be a horrible Hokage, besides I have my spy network to manage as well as other things that are more important," he said, turning back to watch Naruto. "Anyway, there's one other person who would make a great leader of this village, it is in her blood after all." "You can't mean her, can you, Jiraiya? She hasn't been to the village in years, we don't even know where she is, although I agree she would make an excellent choice," Koharu said. "Oh, I can find her, after all I am quite good at finding things," the Toad Sage said confidently. "Very well, we accept. We will issue you with an Anbu squad for escort," Homura announced. "No, I don't want a squad tagging along, they will just slow me down. All I will take with me is my new apprentice. I think he will be perfect for this kind of thing," Jiraiya said. "Very well, when will you depart?" both elders asked. "I will leave today, no time to waste. Right by now the whole elemental nations would have heard of Sensei's death. We don't need any more invasion attempts," and with that Jiraiya jumped away to collect his student from the streets below. With Naruto. "So Gaki still moping, I see," Jiraiya said. "Oh hey Erosen, and I just don't know what to do. I have had any family before, but I imagine this is what it feels like," Naruto moped, kicking a rock on the ground at a fence. "Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? But the sensei wouldn't want you to mope around like this. It's not like you at all. He would want you to get stronger so you can prevent this from ever happening again. So you should get stronger and make him proud," Jiraiya did in an attempt to pick up the spirits and motivate his young charge. "You're right, Erosen, and I will become strong enough to protect everything I care about. That's a promise, and I never go back on my word," Naruto said, obviously in a better mood and more determined than ever. "Good man, now go home and pack for a month-long trip. We have a mission to find the next Hokage, and knowing Tsunade it could prove difficult. Now go get your stuff and meet me at the North Gate," the Toad Sage ordered. "You got it, Erosen, and I'll see you there." And with that the energetic blonde ran off home to pack for his new mission. Search for Tsunade. It had been several hours since Naruto and Jiraiya had left Konoha, and finally the Toad Sage stopped for a rest. "Okay Naruto, while we are walking I have a new chakra control exercise for you," the white-haired man spoke, taking out a black metal ball the size of his fist and chucking it to Naruto, who caught it. "Wow, this thing is heavy, Erosen, and what am I supposed to do with it?" Naruto asked, curious as to what his new exercise would be. "I want you to stick the ball to your body and use chakra to move it around. This should greatly improve your chakra control. Now I only have 2 of them, so unfortunately you can only use 1 clone to help with mastering it," Jiraiya said, and Naruto got to work, but the task was proving difficult. At Konoha. Looking down on the village, 2 men slowly stalked forward. Both were wearing black full-length coats that had red clouds and large straw hats. As they walked, mist started to gather around them, hiding the pair from view. Well, Itachi, this place looks like it has seen better days. You're not feeling nostalgic, are you?" the taller of the 2 said. "I feel nothing coming back here now. Let's just find our target and leave," the shorter member said as they casually walked towards the village. 30 minutes later. Kakashi was standing outside a small sweets store as he saw Asuma and Kurenai walking towards him, casually getting their attention. They walked over to see what he wanted. After a small, seemingly unimportant conversation, he subtly signaled them to follow him. The 3 Jonin arrived in the park and came to a stop behind 2 men in long black cloaks. Well, what do we have here? A couple of lost ninja who don't belong here," Asuma spoke. The pair turned around to see who had disturbed their search. Itachi Uchiha, you sure have some nerve to show your face around here, and who is your partner? My, if it isn't Kisame Hoshigaki, the monster of the mist, Kakashi said in a serious tone. So what are two members of the Akatsuki doing here? He completed, getting into a loose stance in case he is attacked by these two S-class ninja. My, well, you are well informed, Kakashi Hatake. How is it you know about us? Itachi said in a monotone voice. I have my ways now. Why are you here? The silver-haired ninja spoke, revealing his Sharingan. Are you here for Sasuke to finish what you started? Asuma asked, wondering why the pair were here of all places. Sasuke doesn't concern me, we are looking for the Yondaime's legacy, Itachi droned. So you're after Naruto for the Kyuubi, but you won't get him, we won't let you. And with that, Kakashi flew forward and kicked the Uchiha onto the river and jumped down to follow him, leaving Kurenai and Asuma with Kisame. Itachi stood and activated his Sharingan, but before he could move he was stabbed in the chest with a kunai. Looking down, the black-haired missing ninja burst into water, shocking Kakashi went wide-eyed and had no time to react as Hita was stabbed from behind before Hita burst into water. You are quite talented in using the Sharingan, Kakashi, but let me show you how to use it properly, Itachi said, turning to where the real Kakashi was standing. Kisame landed next to Itachi as his eyes began to morph into a three-point pinwheel and started spinning. Quick, cover your eyes, do not look at Itachi. Kakashi quickly warned the other Leaf Ninja about the Mangekyo Sharingan, but it was too late for the copy ninja. Tsukuyomi, Itachi whispered, trapping the copy ninja. The other Jonin were shocked. 1 second, Kakashi is fine. The next he collapsed in front of them unconscious. Kisame, we're leaving, we have been discovered and we don't want the entire of Konoha to be here, but we need to take Kakashi and find out how he knew about us, said the stoic missing ninja. Kisame went to move to collect the copy ninja but was intercepted by a flying green blur who knocked the tall shark-like man away. Kisame, now is the time to retreat before any more reinforcements arrive, Itachi said, and with that both missing ninja fled, producing a sigh in relief from Kurenai and Asuma. 1 hour later at the hospital. The Jonin who were at the conflict with the Akatsuki were standing around the bed Kakashi was in. He had not yet awoken from the effects of the genjutsu attack. Sasuke walked in as he had been told his sensei was here. What happened to Kakashi sensei? I was looking for him to train me, the black-haired genin said. The other rookies, senseis and guy, shared looks and were about to lie to cover up the fact his brother was in town when a Chunin barged in the door. Did you guys hear Itachi Uchiha was in town and is looking for Naruto? The Chunin yelled to the room. Shock appeared on Sasuke's face and he ran out of the room to look for his brother. I finally have a chance, I can finally kill you, Itachi, but how do I find you? I guess I should find the Dobi, that way Itachi will find me, Sasuke thought as he ran down the streets looking for the blonde. Later that day. Well, you could probably take him, I don't think I would stand a chance, Kisame said, looking down at their target. No, if we were to fight I would lose, only together would we stand a chance, and even then I don't think we would make it out with our lives. We must not engage in battle with the Toad Sage, we need to find a way to separate the pair, Itachi said, his face completely void of emotion. With Jiraiya and Naruto several hours later. Okay Gaki, we are going to stay in this town for tonight while I go collect information on Tsunade's whereabouts. I want you to stay and practice your chakra control here. Take the second ball and use a clone, Jiraiya said as the two walked into a hotel before parting ways. Whatever, Erosenin, you just want to go and try and pick up women, Naruto said, but didn't care. He had made a bit of progress on the ball moving exercise and wanted to complete it, and he knew it would be easier if he could relax in the hotel. Several hours passed and Naruto and his clone were both practicing the task his sensei had set when a knock could be heard on the door. What, all the women reject you already? Naruto said as he wailed to the door. However, when he opened it he did not see his sensei but two people he had never seen before. Who the hell are you people? I think you and Fish Face are looking for a different room, Naruto said to the shorter of the pair. Hey Itachi, are you sure this is him? Kisame asked. Yes, I am sure. Now Naruto-kun, I need you to come with us, Itachi said. Hell no, I am not going with you two. Whatever you guys do in your alone time is fine with me, but I am not joining in. Go find someone else, freaks, Naruto yelled. Itachi, did that prick just say we were gay? Kisame said. I believe he did, Itachi stated. Wait, Itachi Uchiha? The blonde asked. Hey, what do you know? He's heard of you, the shark man said. Now since I can't kill him, can I at least cut off his legs so he can't get away? the shark finished removing Samaharada from his back. You know of all the Uchiha for you to leave alive, why the fuck did you pick such a stuck-up egotistical tem like Sasuke, or do you enjoy the fact that he's a power-hungry wanker that does nothing but brood? Naruto taunted, trying to get a reaction from the still emotionless Uchiha. Itachi was about to step in to subdue his target when he felt a presence at his side. Itachi, I have been training my whole life for the time I could finally kill you, and today's the day, Sasuke screamed. Sasuke, what the hell are you doing here? Get away, neither of us stand a chance against either of these two, don't be stupid, Naruto called out, trying to make the black-haired genin see reason. Sadly, Naruto's pleas fell on deaf ears and Sasuke charged, a Chidori in hand. Itachi looked on in mild interest as Sasuke charged forward, but just as the emo brooder went to deliver the attack on target, the elder Uchiha lazily caught Sasuke's arm. The Raiden jutsu died down as Sasuke glared at the man he had sworn to kill. Hey Itachi, that kid looks just like you, Kisame said in mild interest of the genin who had been stupid enough to attack 2S class shinobi. Indeed he does, Kisame, this is my little brother. How have you been, Sasuke-kun? Itachi asked. Sasuke kicked out and Itachi released him. I'll be doing a lot better once I kill you, Sasuke yelled, charging once again. Foolish little brother, Itachi said as he easily blocked Sasuke's punch before bringing up his knee, knocking the breath out of the younger raven-haired ninja and kicked him in the chest, sending him flying to the end of the hall. Itachi quickly followed up, charging at the recovering Sasuke, who threw another punch which was easily dodged, the arm proceeding to break it without mercy. The elder Uchiha's eyes then morphed into a three-point pinwheel. You're too weak, you don't have enough hate to kill me, and do you know what, you never will, and the next second Sasuke screamed before collapsing in a heap. Wow, that was brutal to do that to your own brother. Now can we hurry up and take the 9 tails, Kisame said. Oh, I am sorry, but I left as soon as I found out you weren't Erosenin, but we should be back soon, Naruto stated before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Even Itachi's eyes went wide at this. Kisame, we have to get out of here now. The usually calm Itachi said with a hint of urgency. They turned to leave but found their legs were caught in a tough fleshy substance. Oh, you aren't going anywhere, the voice of the Toad Sage rang out as he and Naruto appeared from around the corner. Kisame, we must leave, let's go, and with that the pair ran and a huge wall of flesh came from behind them. As they rounded the corner, the pair found that they were trapped and about to be crushed. A mate or so, Itachi called in desperation, and black flames shot out from his eyes. Upon arriving at where the missing ninja fled to, Jiraiya and Naruto saw a hole burn through the toad-style jutsu in the wall. Don't touch that, Naruto, it was able to burn through the stomach lining of the fire toad. That isn't normal flames, we have to seal it. Why don't you do the honors, think of it as a test, Jiraiya said. Naruto hadn't had a chance to test one of his elemental seals but jumped at the chance. Drawing up a fire suppression seal, he began to seal the flames away, receiving proud smile and a rub on the head from the Toad Sage. Well done, and don't worry, those two won't be back, Jiraiya said, but as he turned to go check on the fallen Uchiha, a roar was heard and Jiraiya was knocked to the side by a flying green blur. When it stopped, it revealed Mito Guy. Oh my, Jiraiya-sama, I am sorry, you see I was hiding around the corner when I had the most youthful idea to use my hetai. It is a mirror and I saw a menacing figure looking down at an unconscious Sasuke, and well, I was forced to act again. I apologize again for my most unyouthful attack, the green-clad ninja with the bowl haircut said, bowing to the floored Toad Sage. That's okay, Guy, really, but we need to get Sasuke back to Konoha. Can you take him to the hospital for us? Jiraiya asked. Yosh, I will complete the task you set, and if I can't, I will do 500 laps of Konoha on my hands, and if I can't do that, I will climb the Hokage monument with my teeth, and if I can't do that, I will. But Guy was cut off before he could finish. Look, Guy, can you just take him already? He needs medical attention, the old hermit said. Guy soon left with Sasuke on his back, making for Konoha at top speeds, and Naruto and Jiraiya returned to their room. 1 week later. So are you sure she's here, Erosenin? Naruto asked. Oh, she's here all right, or at least she was here, Jiraiya replied. Come on, let's go check out the palace, it should be around here somewhere. You know, shouldn't a palace be like big? Naruto asked. Of course it is, it's huge, the white-haired hermit said. Then isn't it kinda odd we can't see it? Naruto said as they rounded a corner and a large pile of rubble came into view. Wow, what happened here? I don't know, but I plan to find out, Jiraiya said as he eyed the rubble of the palace suspiciously. That night, Oigaki, we're going to eat in here. But Erosenin, that's a bar, I don't think I am allowed in there, Naruto said. You're a ninja, so you are considered an adult now, come on, Jiraiya said, walking onto the bar. The pair entered the bar and Jiraiya walked straight to the back of the room. Hello Tsunade Hime, you are looking as beautiful as ever, Jiraiya said as he took a seat. Jiraiya, what a terrible surprise, to what do I owe the honor? Who's the kid? Said the lady who looked like she was in her late 20s and had the largest pair of brias Naruto had ever seen. Now the boy wasn't a pervert, but it was hard not to notice the size of the woman's assets. Ah yes, this is Naruto Uzumaki, my new apprentice, Jiraiya said proudly. Have you heard about Konoha? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, I heard about sensei as well, Orochimaru told me himself, she said with little emotion in her voice. So I take it that he was the person who did the number on the palace. So what did he want? Jiraiya asked. He wanted me to heal his arms. Sensei did a number on him, that's for sure, Tsunade replied. And what did you do? Jiraiya asked. I did nothing and he left, Tsunade said offhandedly. Now what did you want? Well, to be blunt, I want you to come back to Konoha and be Gondime Hokage, Jiraiya said. No way, I refused. The Hokages were nothing but fools who threw away their lives for nothing. Even my grandfather and granduncle playing Hokage is nothing but a fool's game, Tsunade snapped. Naruto was fed up. This woman was supposed to be the next Hokage and yet she was nothing but disrespectful towards them, his heroes and the closest thing to a grandfather he ever had. That's it, you old hag, how dare you insult the Hokages? They gave their life to protect their people and were honorable men, whilst you are nothing but a drunk. I am glad you don't want to be the next Hokage because you are nothing but a washed up drunk, Naruto yelled. You wanna take this outside, you little shit, Tsunade seethed. Bring it on, Ba-chan, Naruto said, getting up. The two walked outside and glared at each other with Jiraiya and Tsunade's apprentice Shizune watching from the sides. Tsunade-sama, don't do this, he's just a genin, Shizune begged. No, I need to teach the Gaki a lesson, but I think I will go easy on him. Tell you what, kid, I will only use one finger, the slug Sanin taunted. Fine, I don't care if you were Erosenin's teammates, I won't let you insult the Hokages in front of me, Naruto yelled as he charged forward. Tsunade ducked under his punch and flicked him in the chest, sending him flying to the end of the road. Pathetic. So Gaki, why are you so hung up on the Hokages anyway? She asked the boy who had just made it to his feet. Because it is my dream to be Hokage and you disrespecting them is spitting on my dream, Naruto said, shaking in rage, trying to form a Rasengan but forgetting to form a clone only formed the second stage. He charged forward in anger. Tsunade was stunned. This boy had the same dram as her dead lover and brother. She was shocked, but she was brought out of her shock by the sight of the charging blonde with an unstable blue sphere in his hands. Acting quickly, she slammed her finger into the ground, creating a crack in the earth that trapped the blonde. Jiraiya, who do you think you are teaching him that jutsu? Only you and the Yondaime can use that jutsu, Tsunade spat. Why not? You could even say it's his right to learn it, Jiraiya said with a knowing smile. Just you watch, Ba-chan, give me 3 days and I will have it completely mastered, Naruto said, determination evident in his voice. Get real, kid, it took the Yondaime 3 years to create that jutsu and Jiraiya a year to learn it. What makes you think you can do it in 3 days? Tsunade smirked. Tell you what, if you can master it in a week I will give you my necklace, she said, pointing to the crystal hanging around her neck. Tsunade-sama, no you can't, that is the only thing you have never gambled, Shizune said. What about if I can't do it? What do you want? Naruto said, still confident. Then I get all the money in Froggy, the slug summoner said as she picked up Naruto's frog wallet. Gamma-chan. Fine, you got a bet, Naruto said, and he created a shadow clone to pull him up from the earth. Later that night at a bar. Why did you bring him here, Jiraiya? Was it because you knew he would remind me of Nawaki and Dan? I could almost see them in him, Tsunade sighed, taking another gulp of sake. He is my apprentice. Besides, I made a promise to Minato I would teach his son once he became a ninja, and the fact that he is the embodiment of his father's will and mother's fiery personality makes him hard not to like. Yes, I can tell he is a lot like his mother already. So do you really think he can learn the Rasengan? Tsunade asked. He already knows that he can make one perfectly, he just uses a shadow clone to help controlling his incredibly large chakra supplies, Jiraiya said, smirking at the shocked look on his old teammate's face. Then I have already lost the bet, she said, defeated. I should have known, damn, Gaki played me, he already had it won. He may have the jutsu so he can use it, but he refuses to believe it is mastered until he no longer needs a clone to use it. I have even given him Jonin chakra control exercises to help him, so he hasn't won the bet yet, although I have no doubt that he will. He wouldn't cheat anyone, it's not in him to do that, Jiraiya said, comforting his long-time crush. The next day, "I'll show that Tsunade Bachan that I can master this jutsu. I just need to get better chakra control first so I don't need to use clones," Naruto thought, creating several hundred clones, keeping 2 to use his new ball rolling technique. He split the other half to tree climbing whilst leaf sticking and water walking while leaf floating. Naruto continued with the clones for an hour while he attempted Rasengan after Rasengan, dispelling one clone every 5 minutes. The blonde was painfully unaware of the pair of slitted blue feminine eyes staring at him in awe of his determination and resilience. "Well, look at him go," the girl thought. "Maybe you should go talk to him, kid, and I can tell from here he holds the Kyuubi," a voice from in her head spoke. "I think I will," the girl thought in response. Yugito ni and the reunion. Naruto had been practicing for hours on end and was finally making some progress with the Rasengan, now being able to hold it for around 25 seconds before it lost its compression and destabilized. Feeling a presence, Naruto spun around and put his guard up. There, standing before him, was what Naruto considered the most beautiful and exotic woman he had ever seen. She was about 15, had long blonde hair slightly more pale than his own, and it was tied back in a ponytail. She had cat-like slitted eyes with a perfect shade of sky blue. Her body had curves in all the right places with ample C-cup breasts and long legs ending in a tight backside. She wore a blue jacket and pants which tightly gripped onto her curves, accenting them perfectly. Naruto was stunned but slowly came back to his senses. Who are you? He stuttered out. "Oh me, I am Yugito ni Chunin from Kumogakure." "Who are you, cutie?" Yugito asked. Naruto went red with blush at being called cute but managed to regain himself to respond. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki Genin from Konohagakure. It is a pleasure to meet such a beautiful woman as yourself," Naruto said honestly. This time it was Yugito's turn to blush. What the hell? It was only a compliment. Sure, he looks good with that sun-colored hair, a bright blue eyes, she thought, desperately trying to force back the blush. "My oh my kitten, I believe you are attracted to your fellow container, and this one will be a powerful mate indeed. I say you claim him now before anybody else does," the voice in her head called. "Nibby, stop it, I don't even know him, for Kami's sake," Yugito thought. "I'm sorry, I saw you training and I was intrigued, so I wanted to get a closer look at what you were trying to do," the blonde girl said. "Oh, it's nothing, I am just trying to improve my chakra control enough so I can master a jutsu. I know, but it is really hard," Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. "Say, what are you doing in Fire Country anyway, Yugi-chan?" Naruto asked, causing the girl to blush again from the affectionate nickname. "Oh, I was given a mission to deliver a message to the Hokage telling him we are willing to cooperate on some issue. They didn't give me the full details. Apparently some group of missing ninja are a threat, so Raikage-sama has decided to act after receiving information from Jiraiya of the Sannin," Yugito informed the other blonde. "But I just found out that the Hokage was killed and they haven't chosen a Gondime yet, so I have to wait till one is chosen before I can go to Konoha," Yugito finished with a sigh. "That's Suke, Yugi-chan, but it's not all bad. I am here with Erosenin to bring back the next Hokage, but she is nothing but an old hag who hides behind a henge to make her look young," Naruto said. "Erosenin?" the female blonde asked. "Oh right, you wouldn't know Jiraiya-sensei. He is the one who the Raikage got the information on that group off," Naruto said offhandedly, as though disrespecting famous ninja was nothing out of the ordinary. "You call Jiraiya-sama Erosenin? He is a highly respected ninja even in Kumo. Why do you treat him with disrespect?" the girl with slitted eyes asked. "Trust me, if you knew him you would know why I call him Erosenin. Just don't use any hot springs when he is around. I am sure he would die to use someone like you in his research for his books," Naruto mumbled. "I will have to keep that in mind. And what books does he write that he would use someone like me as research material?" Yugito asked, curious as to if she could be used in a ninja guidebook or something. "He writes those little orange ICHA books. I assume they have them in Kumo," Naruto said. "He what? One of the most legendary ninja in the world is responsible for that smut. How does he do his researching?" Yugito asked, feeling slightly sick that she thought being in his books might be fun a moment ago. "Usually by trying to pick up women in bars or peeking on them in change rooms or hot springs," Naruto stated, casually enjoying the looks of fury in the young Kumo Kunoichi's face. Yeah, he's a real sleaze, but he's also a great guy and the closest thing to a father I have ever known, Naruto said with a calm, loving smile on his face, and Yugito's anger began to subside at saying the boy's affection for the man. He is also the person who taught me never to give up and not to let things get on top of you. He taught me what it means to be a ninja. Yugito's scowl turned into a slight smile as some respect returned for the promiscuous toad sage. He sounds really important to you. She paused for a moment, weighing up whether to tell the boy of her status or not before deciding that she wanted to get to know him better and that was the best way. Do you know, Naruto-kun, we are a lot alike, we both share a burden that only a handful can understand, she said. Naruto-kun, where did that come from, and don't you dare say anything nibby, she thought. Oh, I wouldn't dream of it, kitten, not at all, but have you noticed how well toned his muscles are, the two-tailed demon cat said in her head. Yeah, and there's no fat on him at all, he's all muscle. Hey wait, damn it Nibby, you tricked me, she thought as Naruto began to respond. You mean you're AAA, Jinchuriki? Yes I am, Yugito finished from the stuttering. I hold the Nibby inside of me, I am 2 whilst you are 9. I see, is that why you have those beautiful slitted eyes? He asked. Now it was Yugito's turn to be shocked into a stutter. Never once had anyone called her eyes beautiful. They had been the cause of most her pain, the mark of her as a Jinchuriki. You think my eyes are beautiful? She stuttered this time. A deep blush crept up on her face and her heart skipped a beat. No, damn it, I can't like him, I only just met him, damn this, damn him, and that warm, welcoming, wonderful smile of his makes him so hot. Wait, what am I thinking? Bad Yugito, bad, she thought. Oh, I am sure he wouldn't mind you being a little bad with him, kitten. I felt your heart skip a beat. That has never happened before. Maybe my container is in love, now wouldn't that be something? Nibby teased. Stop it Nibby, I don't even know him, how could I be in love with him? That's just stupid. Right, the girl though pleadingly waiting for a response that never came. Nibby. Still no response. Damn you Nibby, now that I am all confused, you stop talking, you will pay for this, she thought. Yugi-chan, you're a little red, are you sick or something? Naruto said, putting his forehead to hers. You don't have a fever, I wonder what it is, Naruto said, failing to notice the shocked look of pleasure and embarrassment on the face of the girl he had just touched. Oh Kami, what was that? When he touched me it was like an electric shock, but it felt amazing. All he did was touch his forehead to mine, but it felt like a current passed through my whole body. Oh no, I like this boy, I just met him but I like him. Luckily I don't think he has noticed yet, must be from the lack of affection all Jinchuriki are put through, Yugito panicked in her mind. Naruto-kun, I'm alright, it was just Nibby was talking to me, she lied. Oh okay, I get angry with Kyuubi as well, the jerk never wants to help with anything, Naruto moaned. No, Nibby is actually rather easy to get along with once you get past her trying to meddle in my private life, she giggled, trying to skate over the fact that Nibby is attracted to power and every powerful male she had come across Nibby wanted her to take as her mate, but it had been nothing more than a suggestion, never pushing the issue. Hey Yugi-chan, I was wondering what life was like for you growing up in Kumo, Naruto asked, curious if she had it tough like he did. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it, he added. No, that's okay, life was tough for me, I was pushed out of the way and shunned, only the Raikage and his brother Karabi treated me well. I always begged to know why, because even though I knew I had a demon inside me. Kumo has 2 Jinchuriki, the Nibby and the Hachibi, but they treated the other Jinchuriki like royalty but me like dirt. I received hateful glares while he received praise, it was so painful. Yugito finished with a jump when she realized Naruto had snaked his arms around her and was giving her a hug to comfort her, and then she broke down. Tears started flowing from her eyes as she cried into the blonde teen's shoulder. It's okay Yugi-chan, I know exactly what that life is like. I was kicked out of an orphanage at age 4 and I lived on the streets for 6 months before Gigi's Anbu found me in an alleyway, Naruto said as he started telling Yugito the story of his life. Kami, she is so pretty even when she's upset, although I would much prefer to see her smile. She has such a beautiful face, I wonder what it would be like to kiss her. No bad thoughts, I am not Erosenin, he thought as he continued to tell his story, neither of the pair breaking the hug. Once Naruto finished the story, the pair talked for a while about little things like their favorite food. Naruto found the fact that she was held a cat demon and she loved sushi more than anything hilarious, favorite color, even any relationships they had had. Naruto felt a twinge of jealousy when she talked about a boy she had dated but forgot all about it when she told him they only had one date and that she would never be talking to him again, as he had bragged to his friends about being the first one to get the chance to bang the demon bitch, which caused an angry burst of ki from Naruto. Eventually Yugito said she had to leave and that she would be back tomorrow and asked if she could help with his training, receiving an eager nod from the spiky-haired genin, who then remembered all his clones were still working on chakra control, dispelled them in groups of 10 before heading back to the hotel room. Then next few days passed and Naruto and Yugito were spending more and more time together. While Naruto's clones trained, the pair talked and found out more about each other. Hey Yugi-chan, do you want to go get some lunch with me? Naruto asked a few days before his deadline. If I didn't know any better I would say you're asking me out, Naruto-kun, Yugito teased with a slight blush on her cheeks. What no, I just wanted to take a break and get something to eat and wanted to know if you will join me. It's not a date, unless you want it to be, Naruto said. He too had a small blush adorning his face. You know what, Whiskers, I would like that a lot. A date means you're paying, so let's go, and when we are finished how about we have a spar? I want to see how good you really are. Come on, there is this great place in town that has sushi. The Nibi Jinchuriki purred and she latched onto Naruto's arm, dragging him away from his training ground, leaving his clones working as they had just mastered the ball rolling technique and now a pair were trying it while walking up trees. In town, Yugito was still leading Naruto to a restaurant by the arm, but what they didn't know was they were being tailed by a master of infiltration and espionage. That's Akumo Ninja. What is she doing here, and for that matter why is she with Naruto? Don't tell me she is taking the boy somewhere so he will no longer be a gaki and to become a man, Jiraiya thought with a lecherous grin, taking out a pen and his notepad, vigorously taking notes while following the pair to a large restaurant. Naruto watched in awe and horror for his poor Gama-chan as Yugito went through plate after plate of sushi like he went through ramen. You really do like your sushi, don't you? I guess you were not lying when you said you loved it, Naruto chuckled. You know it, Naruto-kun, it's my favorite food, she said with a smile as she finished another plate off. Naruto couldn't help but smile as he watched this girl destroy what turned out to be a week's worth of pay in a single meal. Okay, well now I think we owe each other a spar, Naruto said, grinning at the contented smile on his female companion's face. Oh, of course you didn't think I had forgotten, had you? Let's go, Naruto-kun, Yugito said, subconsciously wrapping her arm around his. Not that Naruto cared in the slightest. This kid is going to be a goldmine, only 13 and already seducing one of the hottest foreign kunoichis I have seen. Even if this one is a little too young for my tastes, I can already see the book now. Forbidden love between shinobi from two unfriendly villages meet by chance and fall in love, then war breaks out and separates them. Forced to fight, in the end they flee so they can be together. It will be my next top seller, Jiraiya thought, following his pupil and date back to the training ground. About halfway back, Naruto received information from one of his clones, dispelling from a conversation he had with Shizune. She had come to Naruto to try and decrease his hostility towards her, telling her the story of her dead brother and the love of her life and why she treasures her necklace, which turned out to be an heirloom of the first Hokage. The spar between Naruto and Yugito was even. Her Kaden and Raiden jutsu were far superior to his Fuden jutsus, as he had not completely mastered the elemental manipulation yet, but Naruto was superior in speed and taijutsu, with neither having any skill for genjutsu because of their large chakra reserves. The two continued to spar hours, laughing all the time as they tried to outdo each other after every battle, neither accepting defeat. You ready for another round? I know I will defiantly win this time, Yugi-chan. You won't trap me with those jutsu again, Naruto said playfully. Whatever, Whiskers, just admit I am better than you already, the Kumo Kunoichi giggled. Now we can't have that, can we? Came a voice from behind the pair, who were sitting down watching Naruto's clones walk up trees on their hands and water walk on their hands to improve the flow and control to that area. Now Miss Ni, may I ask why you are going here with my student? Turning around, they saw the imposing figure of the well-respected Toad Sage, not the perverted child he acts when he isn't serious. Jiraiya-sama, I came to deliver the reply to the information and request you yourself provided, Raikage-sama, but because of the death of the Hokage I cannot get anywhere near Konoha until they elect a new Hokage. I saw Naruto-kun training out here a few days ago and I came to investigate, and he said he was on a mission to find the new Hokage, so I decided to stick around and get to know him, Yugito said, hoping not to bring down the wrath of one of the Sannin down on here. Kunha, are you sure that is all you want with my student? The toad sage giggled, reverting into the famous pervert that he is, causing massive blushes on both the younger ninjas' faces. Yugito stammered, unable to answer the question because truthfully she was falling for her fellow blonde, but she didn't want to admit it, at least not yet. I have the Raikage's response here. We need the Hokage's approval in order to work out the scouting and border agreements before I can go back, Yugito said, handing several scrolls to Jiraiya, happy that she thought of a way to deflect from the topic of her interest in Naruto. Well, I guess you should stick with us until we can get our new Hokage to return to Konoha. She's a bit hesitant, but I am sure she will see reason eventually, Jiraiya said, pocketing the scrolls after sealing them into a larger one. So Gaki, how goes mastering the Rasengan? The bet is tomorrow after all. I will have it down by then, I'm sure of it. My chakra control has improved so much this last week. If I can't complete it now, then I don't think I can do it, Naruto said, determined to win the bet. Anyway, Miss Ni, we have to turn in a big day tomorrow and everything, Jiraiya informed the girl. Wait, Erosen, I think I will walk Yugi-chan home. We are supposed to be on a date and you told me yourself to always walk a lady home after a date, Naruto said, going red from embarrassment at admitting that they were not simply training but on a date. A date? Huh, well, this sure is a strange one, beating up on each other. Oh well, hope you and your new girlfriend have some fun, Gaki, Jiraiya said, causing the remaining teens to go bright red from embarrassment. Damn it, Whiskers, why did you have to tell him it was a date? Yugito said after regaining composure. Oh, I'm sorry, Yugito, I didn't think you would mind. I just wanted to spend some more time with you, that's all. I will leave now if you don't want me to walk you home, Naruto said, feeling rejected, and began heading back towards the village, thinking she didn't like him. Yugito's heart stopped at seeing the young man begin walking away. She felt like she had been crushed when he didn't use his affectionate nickname. Naruto, wait, please wait, I'm sorry, I just a little embarrassed when you told Jiraiya-sama we were on a date, that's all, please don't go, she begged as she ran up and hugged Naruto from behind. Naruto froze, life returning to his features as a smile returned to his face, knowing she wasn't angry at him for what he said. Okay, Yugi-chan, I will stay, come on, let's walk you home, Naruto said, turning around in the hug before returning it. They sat and talked for a while longer before both started making their way back to the town. About halfway there, Naruto grabbed her hand in his and she delicately interlocked her fingers with his. The two ninja arrived at Yugito's hotel several minutes later and began saying their goodbyes, but as Naruto was about to turn and leave, he gave Yugito a soft, quick kiss on the cheek and she closed her eyes from the experience, and then, she purred. Did you just purr, Yugi-chan? Naruto giggled. What? No, of course not, I don't purr, she lied unconvincingly, causing Naruto to once again chuckle at the expense of his feline-like female. Oh, I think you did, Yugi-chan, Naruto teased, but you know what, I think it's beautiful just like everything else about you, but now I gotta go, he finished before he gave her another quick peck on the cheek before turning and disappearing in a blur of speed. Sweet Kami, Naruto-kun, what have you done to me? Yugito thought as she just looked on in a daze at where Naruto had disappeared. You have fallen for him, kitten, no denying that. You need to claim him, just jump on him and ride him all night long, then he will be yours forever, Nibi spoke up in her mind. You're right that I have fallen from him, even now I am missing him and he only just left, but what you're suggesting is borderline rape, Yugito replied to her promiscuous feline demon. The next day, Naruto's apartment. Naruto awoke in his bedroom and went to wake his sensei to find he was nowhere to be found, and when he heard a knock on the door he figured Jiraiya had just gone out for breakfast, although when he opened it he was surprised to see Shizune standing there with a worried look on her face. Oh, Naruto-kun, Tsunade-sama isn't here, as she didn't come back last night, Shizune said, heading into the hotel room looking around searching for her wayward sensei. No, she's not here, Shizune, and Erosenin didn't come back last night either, Naruto said as Shizune stuck her head out the window. A kunai struck just above her head, turning to where it came from. A weakened Jiraiya was struggling to stand. Hey Erosenin, what the hell did you do that for, and why are you so messed up? Naruto asked. Tsunade drugged me last night, Shizune, you need to tell me what Orochimaru offered her, Jiraiya said, collapsing in through the window. Shizune began to sweat slightly. She didn't want to rat out her master, but at the same time she despised Orochimaru for what he had done to her home. He offered to bring Nawaki and Dan back to life, but she needed 2 sacrifices, Shizune said, scared that she might be actually taking up Orochimaru's offer and that Naruto and Jiraiya would be the sacrifices for the jutsu. We have to stop her, we can't let her heal that fucking pedo's arms, Naruto raged as he stood up and headed for the exit. Wait a minute, you are no match for either of them. Shizune, can you help with the poison she used? It's not deadly but has made me weak, Jiraiya said while getting a nod from Shizune, who got to work. Several minutes later and Jiraiya was back to his feet and walking normal. You should be fine in a few hours, only your chakra flow should be messed up now, Shizune said as Jiraiya said, standing up and heading to the window, signaling the others to follow them. Several minutes later, the small group had finally found Tsunade and she was not looking good. She was shaking in while a silver-haired ninja was kicking her around like a rag doll. Hey, get away from her, yelled Naruto, who rocketed forward in an attempt to force the ninja away from the down Sannin. The ninja avoided the kick by the smallest margin and he jumped back and gave the boy a smug smirk. Hey Erosenin, what's wrong with her? She looks like she has seen a ghost, Naruto said, concerned for the shivering Tsunade. She suffers from hemophobia, she's afraid of blood, the Gamma Sannin said. What kind of famous medic is afraid of blood? Naruto said, incredulous, before turning to face her attacker. Well, if it isn't Naruto-kun, you have proved quite the thorn in our plans as of late, the silver-haired ninja said, his smirk never leaving his face. Kabuto, you were a spy, I take it. Naruto spat. I will not let you continue beating on the old hag. She might be a bitter old drunk, but she is a Konoha ninja and we protect our own. He finished, getting into the toad-style stance. Well, I guess it's time to see if you can back up your claims, sneered Kabuto, and his hands began glowing with chakra. Kabuto ran at the blonde genin, who dodged to the side quickly, narrowly avoiding the hit. He then went for a counter-attack, sending a kick to Kabuto's head which was easily avoided. Damn, I can't mess around with this guy. At least it looks like Erosenin is doing okay in his fight with that damn snake, Naruto thought before releasing his restriction seals and blurring towards his opponent, delivering a punch sending him flying. That was quite a punch, Naruto-kun, you even made me bleed, but I like you have a fast healing rate. All I have to do is focus my chakra and I can heal almost any wound, and just like that all the cuts on his body immediately healed, and then he came at Naruto at a much faster speed, now taking the fight seriously. Naruto was struggling to keep up even with his greater speeds. The silver-haired spy's reflexes were far greater and his chakra scalpels made almost all attacks dangerous. Meanwhile with Yugito, damn that Naruto, where is he? He wasn't at his training ground this morning. Where could you be? Yugito mused to herself. Do you feel that, kitten? There are some large chakra signature spikes coming from the east and I would bet your future kittens that your future mate is one of them, Nibi informed her container. Oh no, Naruto-kun, please be alright. Hey wait. Nibi, Naruto-kun is not my mate, Yugito whined to her demon. I don't remember saying Naruto was there. I said your future mate was. You are the one who thought I said the blonde fox was your mate, Nibi teased as Yugito made her way towards the large chakra signatures. You know, for the one considered the nicest of the Biju, you sure are mean, Yugito pouted, jumping over a large rock, and was shocked. In the clearing held the three legendary Sannin and their three disciples, and while Shizune was trying to comfort a visibly shaken Tsunade, Naruto was involved in what appeared to be the snake Sannin's apprentice and their sensei's fighting as well. Yugito was stunned still, but she was then forced into action when Naruto collapsed and started sprinting to help the boy who had stolen her heart. With Naruto was trying to stand but couldn't, and he turned to see Kabuto stalk forward, massive smirk on his face. You fast, Naruto, but I just cut your Achilles tendon. You can't even move. You are nothing without your speed, Kabuto taunted. Well, it's time to end this. I can't let you get in our way anymore. He finished, attempting to use his chakra scalpels on the blonde boy's heart. Suddenly Senbon needles flew at him, forcing Kabuto to jump back. Shizune had left her master's side to try and save Naruto. Unfortunately, she was not a combat ninja and she was easily dispatched by Kabuto, who used a simple palm strike to her chest to incapacitate her. Naruto had just got back to his feet and his ankle had almost healed. However, almost wasn't good enough as Shizune was easily defeated. Kabuto turned to attack Naruto again, but a roar was heard behind him. Kaden. Flame Whip Jutsu. A thin stream of flames rushed at Kabuto, slashing him across the back before retreating to encircle the caster's arm. Yugito. Not that I am not glad to see you, but what are you doing here? Naruto panted out, relieved to be saved again from Orochimaru's spy. You think I would let you get away from giving me a second date just because you were fighting some demented glasses wearing Tem? She said, trying to lighten the mood. Now how about we kick this guy's ass and then I want some sushi for saving your life, she finished as Kabuto stood back up and glared at the new arrival. It's a date Yugi-chan, but I need to get Shizune to Ba-chan so she can be healed first. Can you hold him off? Oh, and be careful, he heals really fast. Every injury I caused he fixed in seconds. It's ridiculous, Naruto called out, grabbing Shizune and taking her over to Tsunade. Listen Ba-chan, I know you're scared, but you can't let that stop you now. You have to save Shizune, she needs you. You can't let your fear prevent you from saving your precious people. I have to go help Yugi-chan, but just think about what you can do, Naruto said kindly as he shot off to help Yugito, who was keeping Kabuto back for now with her fire whip, but he was slowly getting closer. Hey Yugi-chan, I got an idea, do a fireball jutsu. And with that she started running through hand seals while Naruto used a different set. They finished at the same time. Kaden. Fireball jutsu, Fuden. Wind bullet jutsu, they yelled together, the separate jutsu combining to fuel the flames that turned white and the speed increased dramatically. Kabuto was wide-eyed as the flames hit and the area of grass and rock was incinerated by the flames. Did we get him? Yugito asked in awe of the destructive power of the jutsu. I sure hope so, Naruto replied, not dropping his guard. With Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Curse that damn boy, and who is that girl who helped him? They must know each other rather well to create a perfect collaboration. Jutsu first go, Orochimaru seethed. That is Yugito ni Akumo ninja Naruto met under a week ago. The fact that the jutsu worked so well is probably just a coincidence, Jiraiya said, although it shouldn't work at all unless the people using it are perfectly in sync. That's why it's not a common sight on the battlefield for people to use collaboration jutsus with each other. Using them with summons are hard enough. I guess those two are just perfect for each other. He, the Toad Sage thought with a perverted chuckle. With Naruto and Yugito, the smoke cleared to reveal the smoking remains of a log, Quarami, but Blonde's cursed, damn fucking damn, where is he? Naruto yelled, turning around. He saw Kabuto moving towards Tsunade, who by the looks of it still couldn't move. Fuck, he cursed under his breath and he took off. Kabuto, realizing Orochimaru wouldn't get Tsunade's help, raised a kunai and stabbed it forward. The sound of flesh being torn could be heard, but it wasn't Tsunade's. Naruto had sped faster than he knew he could to intercept and catch the kunai, which was now sticking through his left hand, that he moved up to grab onto the glasses wearing ninja's arm. Hey Ba-chan, get ready to pay up, Naruto said, holding out his hand as he began to form a highly compressed ball of chakra. Hey Kabuto, heal from this, you freak Rasengan. He slammed the mastered jutsu into the gut of Kabuto, whose eyes bulged before being thrown back. Naruto stood there triumphant at the results, but then felt pain in his chest as he gasped for air. He's finished, you know, there's nothing you can do for him. I cut the chakra pathways to his heart, he's as good as dead, Kabuto taunted as he tried to stand but failed and fell. Although that last jutsu of his is definitely powerful, it would have killed a lesser man. That boy, I need to make sure he's dead. If he survives, he could be a problem in the future, thought Orochimaru, who quickly abandoned his fight with Jiraiya and flew straight for Naruto with his sword aimed for the heart. Tsunade saw Orochimaru heading for the boy and something inside her snapped. She felt a need to protect this boy who had proven her wrong. It was like her brother, and Dan lived on in his dream and she would protect it no matter what. As she jumped to take the sword straight through the chest. Kukuku, that was foolish Tsunade, you throw away your life for this boy, the snake said, but the next moment he was sent rocketed away by Tsunade's legendary punch as seals started appearing on her body, signaling the use of her heavenly rebirth. The wound from the sword closed up, leaving no sign they were ever there. Because he is a Konoha ninja, and like my grandfather and granduncle before me, I will die to protect them because I am the god, I'm Hokage, Tsunade said, determination filling her eyes as she started forming hand signs. What jutsu is that, Tsunade? It interests me to no end, Orochimaru cooed. Yugito was kneeling beside Naruto and Shizune, desperately trying to wake the former up to save the boy, tears streaming down her face, while Tsunade had summoned the slug boss Katsuyu to fight along with Gamabunta. The three Sannin stood on their summons, staring at each other as Yugito stared on helplessly. His heartbeat is growing faint. Kitten, it doesn't look good for the boy, Nibi said with sorrow in her voice, knowing he made her container happier than she had ever seen her. No, he will make it. He has to. I won't let him die. I know a small amount of medical jutsu, it's not much as I never had the control to master it because of my chakra levels, but it will help, she thought as her hands started to glow green and she went to work determined to save the golden-haired object of her affection. The snake boss Manda had just been stabbed through the top of his head by Gamabunta's sword that was thrown by Tsunade. Orochimaru, knowing he was defeated, grabbed Kabuto and fled. Tsunade turned to the downed Naruto with Yugito desperately trying to save him, and she ran over to help. After a couple of minutes, Naruto started to stir. Joy was evident on both blonde Kunoichi's faces as he opened his eyes just long enough to grab Tsunade's necklace. I won the bet, Ba-chan. Yugito, don't cry, you are so much more beautiful when you smile, and with that he passed out from exhaustion.